What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is Mike LaBelle. Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Team of the season, it's arrived. So formation, discussion, updated, what's currently working, we should discuss. I'm gonna give you a top 5 because I wanna make this a conversation starter. I could just list out every formation that has an ounce of usability and effectiveness. I would say there's about 10 formations, or at least in that range, give or take, that can be used throughout a weekend league and you can definitely finish elite. That's the disclaimer I'm making. You could finish elite. Because I know some of you watching are gonna say, I'm using this formation and it is working for me. Great. But I'm looking to attach this to the masses. We're looking at the bigger picture. If you want more formation and tactic talk, that type of video, a deeper dive like this right here, and comment below. Let's do a poll. Which formation or formations are you using currently? Weekend League, Division Rivals, versus your friends. Comment below, especially considering that we're here for the Team of the Season grind. Do I have some blue on? Technically, I do. Lined up. Might be a theme. We just got to keep that going for weeks to come. I repeat, this is a top 5 in order, but based on this criteria. Best formations currently, macro versus micro. Remember, I'm not going after the formation that 5% of you use extremely effectively. You've mastered it, you're killing the game, it's been influential, maybe even giving you a higher potential than you normally would have. I'm looking at the larger scene, that perspective, and then learnability. I need you at home to be able to use these formations. If I go too particular, too detailed, too obscure, it gets very, very niche, which I'm not against, but I think it needs to come into the equation, because if I mention a formation and some crazy tactics that go with it that are abnormal, it's probably not going to resonate and attach to that many of you. Hence why it's not being used as common as some of these. You've heard my disclaimers. I'll look forward to the comments. There might be a part 2 to this video if you run it up. 5-3-2. And by no means am I promoting this. We've seen this meta shift about 6 weeks ago, maybe a little bit more, 7-8 weeks. And there's a certain level of effectiveness. And I've said early on, you're either gonna have to master using this or master playing against it. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm in either category. I definitely don't naturally or organically gravitate towards a 5 at the back. I never have been that guy. I don't wanna get on that boat. I'm not looking to take this around the block for a couple pickups. And I find that my performance against the 5 at the back can be mixed. And that might be credit to how effective the formation is, that depending on my formation adjustment, the type of opposition that I'm going up against, I still don't feel that I'm always getting a competitive advantage. But I've been able to manage. And did I mention mixed reviews or mixed opinions? Did you see the Mortal Kombat movie? I'm conflicted completely. We waited over 20 years. Where's the origin stories? Where are the narratives, the storylines, the character development? You gave us the best fatalities. Hand clap. But you forgot about everything else. Clearly, there was a substantial budget that went into this. Give us the big name actors. Blow this thing up. Mortal Kombat should be much bigger, the same with Street Fighter, than what they are in terms of the movies that have been produced and the amount of flicks that are coming out. You could easily drop a Mortal Kombat movie every 2 years. And guess what? We would watch it. And I would love, and I don't know about all of you watching, and I'm not giving any spoilers out in the movie, or I'm trying not to. I would really appreciate origin stories. Tell me more about Sub-Zero from his beginning, his upbringing, and make sure you produce it proper. We good to go back to formations. I know I took that on a separate tangent. The 5 at the back is gonna be ratty, or it's gonna have that reputation. You gotta live with that. And at home, I'm not asking you to dedicate towards the 5-3-2. But I'm also not going to disregard and not talk about the elephant in the room. Does this formation work? And has it worked for a large player base? Yes, these are facts. 4-2-2, often looking like a 4-2-4. And as the players have gotten better, especially offensive players, I just feel when you have 4 pushing that attack, your counter attacks, your deep balls, your leak outs, your direct decisive play, through ball 101, the 4-2-2 gives you the right look. You make eye contact. And for aggressive players that aren't always looking for that additional buildup, you could gravitate to the 4-2-2. You can connect to it. This is the Wi-Fi password. You walk into your friend's apartment, automatically connected, or it's been shared with you. And I can't stress that enough. When I go over these formations and I talk about tactics, your play style and how aggressive, how passive, how balanced you're looking to put together a FIFA package, the speed and the rhythm of how you build up, how you defend, that will play a major factor in which formation or formations allow you to maximize your potential. And that's all I'm trying to get out of you. I want the best you. And your tactics, your formation, your personnel, your instructions, all of this plays a factor. They're not miracle workers. I want to be very clear. Just because you play an effective formation with effective tactics does not mean that all of a sudden you're going to be one of the best players in the world. Some of you expect too much, but it can be a tool in your shed to help you perform better on the virtual pitch. And the 4-2-2 is one of those formations that I definitely feel has a lot of value and also gives a different look than some of the similar compare and contrast formations that are in the same realm. 4-1-2-1-2. The narrow, the second variation. One of my favorites, the classic for the fast build-up, for the quick passing, the intricacies, the triangles. If that's you, you're gonna love this formation. We've also seen people use the 4-1-2-1-2, the second version, where they have the fullbacks on always overlap. And the reason I'm bringing that up because it shifts the dynamic and the prolific capabilities of this formation. Often one of the detriments or the negatives or something that we have to talk about is you're not gonna have width. When those fullbacks are moving up and down the wings, you have width. And it often will resemble more of a 5 at the back when attacking. But of course, defensively is a little bit different. We've also seen people pack it in, where internally, you're not getting in there. It is going to stay as a secret between the group. Good luck breaking down that many players. And then you see those deep counterattacks. You also see highly aggressive players in the 4-1-2-1-2. The point that I'm making is we have versatility. And this formation has grown in popularity throughout the year. I don't think it was nearly as effective when the game first was released. But after certain updates and patches and what's become more overpowered, I just feel that's kind of gradually climbing the ranks in terms of usability, preference, and what you're going to receive on the back end, and even the players that you have available to you. The higher rated guys, especially when you're going forward or you're breaking up plays in the midfield, they're going to strive in a 4-1-2-1-2. And for any of you that have been playing FIFA a long time, this is vintage, classic. You never forget this. That's a formation that will always be there, an absolute staple. 4-2-3-1. This formation is also in that staple category. I've not been on board with it nearly as much in FIFA 21, mainly because I appreciate 2 strikers. But every weekend league, at least 30% of the games, I'm going up against a 4-2-3-1. It's really made a return. It's reestablished itself, maybe been revitalized. It's a great closeout formation. It also counteracts multiple different formations and allows you to slow down a game and talk about defense first, especially if you're going to do heavy track back. The 4-2-3-1 is going to irritate. And it's also a great formation if you're learning the game. If you want to have a master, you want to get better, you get a little more time on the ball in a 4-2-3-1 between the defensive awareness and positioning, but you have outlets. And if you have players that are checking in or checking back, you can resurface, you can recycle, you can switch the pitch. This formation offers you a lot of balance, and I found it very interesting, slightly funny. But I see a bunch of defensive slow playing 4-2-3-1 players calling out the 5 at the back saying, "You're a rat, no, you're a rat." The reality is, throughout these weekend leagues with team of the season, I just think it's going to be rats across the board. There's not many stylistic approaches that are going to allow you to be in that elite level without certain implications of ratism or Benyeterism, where you have game management, you're sitting deeper than expected. It's just the reality. It's the nature of the beast. And I might not co-sign it, and I'm not even saying that I really get down with it on a personal end, but it's a reality of FIFA. Players are dedicated and they want those rewards. They want free team of the season foot items, and they're going to do things they didn't once do before. That didn't flow correctly. They're going to do things they weren't willing to do previously. Better rewording. But the 4-2-3-1, highly recommended from a beginner, intermediate, advanced playstyle, wherever you fall, even though this has not been its best year, and I still have it at number 2, which is kind of crazy. And I'm just talking about the overall masses of people using this formation, and it was mainly just because everyone wanted 2 strikers. But I still think I've got it placed where it should be, especially when we're looking at a macro versus a micro argument. 4-4-2. And I prefer the non-defensive 4-4-2. I think you get more out of the midfield. It makes your attack easier, a little more free flow, fluidity. You're having a conversation, your team is speaking to you, you're giving it back to them. There's the gives and the goes, and there's just a lot of balance in this formation. And even early on, it's been effective. And you can play the 4-4-2 where you're looking to track back, you're looking to be very, very aggressive. This could be a formation, it's a comeback formation for you. You turn up the team press or the constant pressure. You always have options, you always have wing outlets. The 1-2s are there, the striker to striker striker through balls, a striker to striker passing. You can kick it back to a midfielder. And if you have two balanced midfielders, such as a Renato Sanchez and a Vidal, those guys are going to dominate that midfield. They're going to give you enough presence, and they're gifted enough offensively to also be an asset going forward, to be able to maneuver, to orchestrate that attack, and then chase back. Impact, big body, strong hold, uplift, take a couple fouls. Here, there, everywhere. I rate the 4-4-2. I backdoor it, which means I co-sign it, the Dirty Mike stamp of approval. This is still the formation that I would regard to anyone to get started with. I just think it gives you a little bit of everything. You get a sprinkle of FIFA 21 all in all. Whether you're playing meta, non-meta, you're looking to be fast, looking to be slow. It allows you to kind of find your own pace to the game. Thanks again for watching. If you enjoyed the content, please drop some love on the video, especially if you want more formation talk. We could go over a lot more. There's so many details to cover, and unless I want to make these videos 30-40 minutes long, it's difficult to really take that deeper dive and cover every little basis of which players and which positions and why, what you're looking for, who's going to give you a better output. And then even with the fraudulent players, which has been a trend lately on my channel, so many of these stats don't make sense. They don't align, whether it's an SBC, it's someone team of the season based, they're big upgrades, they're small upgrades, there's positioning that we can't measure. Can you tell that I'm on one right here, right now? Little hashtag organics in the comments if you've made it this far, but I have a lot more content coming out ASAP. We upload daily. You want the gameplay, go over to twitch.tv/Mike LaBelle. Adios.